Good morning. Got a little experiment going on here. I think it may actually take my foot out, but if not, I've got these back door speakers out of my Tacoma, which had the upgraded JBL system in it. And these speakers right here are meant to look like 6.5s through the door, but they're not. They're little 3-inch mids. And they did mostly vocal work in the Taco. And so my idea is, now that we've got the f-150, it's lacking mainly like that guitar range of the mid-range, you know, that attack, that those frequencies right between where a woofer and a tweeter, you know, that three-way, the third way, you know, the mid-range is basically missing. And I'm gonna try to improve that. I pulled the tweeters the other day. They're a textile soft on, and they're angled right. They're not bad for what they are. They're not, you know, super high end, but they're not low end by any means. So my idea here is to get some 3-inch. That's why we're to test these, because I already had them. Some 3-inch mid-range, because they'll offer the frequencies that I'm looking for, that I'm wanting in my truck. Made a little wood plug here to go in the back of a roll of tape. And we're basically off to testing. A couple of little screws to hold them in. And the tape there. And now I got to get to hooking up an amp. So I've got some power for them. Even though they're low power drivers, I've got a really small amp I can use. But I think going on top of that factory system, it might just be just what we're looking for. I think it's got potential here. I mean, yeah, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but Peter's in the junkyard now, so not too worried about old Peter anymore. But the f-150 here, it's got a good sounding factory system, I'm not gonna lie. For especially the base model factory system, wow, I mean, I was impressed. If I wasn't a bass head, I wouldn't have touched it, honestly. But I put a Sundown U15 with 2,500 watts on it. And, well, that itself will lead to some future videos, but it is not as violent or as loud. It doesn't attack you as much as it did in the Tacoma. It's a smaller cab. In the f-150 here, it sounds better. The sound quality is better. Now it sits in the back corner where the small passenger side seat is folded up. It doesn't look good in there, and eventually I will redesign that enclosure, but for now it fits and it sounds really good. The vent, it blows up right underneath the headrest. So it's being a little bit blocked. You know, it could definitely flow a little better out of the enclosure. And that's probably holding back some of the volume. I don't expect it's holding back. I think placement's holding back the volume most of anything. So if I turn it around and fire it off the back wall, I know it'll be a lot stronger. It'll hit a lot harder. Of course, then I'm gonna have to go in and do a lot of sound deadening and all, which is normally the first thing I do, especially with a car that hasn't had any done to it. And normally that would be what I would tell anybody to do, and that's what I would do myself. But this time, simply because of economics, and that f-150 was made really quiet. They made that, it's got some the back wall doesn't need any sound deadener insulation the way it's designed, in mine at least. And it may one day once we beat it long enough. The front doors, man, those factory 6x9s, they've got more mid-base than I've seen people spend hundreds of dollars trying to copy or trying to develop, you know, get. And them not get nearly the mid-base that's coming out of those. It's not as loud as I would like it to be, so that's probably where things will get changed out in the future. But for now, it's holding. Sounds decent. Just really needs a lot more mid-range. What I'm trying to do here is screw the screw into a piece of tape, into a tape roll, to hold this speaker, just so I can test it. Hook the little amp up and, you know, be able to see what it's going to sound like with the current system set up the way it is. And I'm going to just run a signal off the front, the DSP that's already hooked up for the amp. And I'm guessing since it's a two-way system basically up front, I mean, they do have that one little center channel, but I feel like the 6x9s in the door is probably going to be, if they're not full range, they're probably crossed over pretty high. I mean, just up to where the tweeters are. So they're going to contain the information I need for this mid-range. They're going to contain surely from 250 hertz to, you know, wherever those tweeters start, which is exactly what this little 3-inch driver right here needs. It's a specialty. And we're going to see just how that does. I'll use a screw with a tip on it this time, though. It'll go in a lot faster. But I think you get my point here. Just doing a little testing. See what happens, and well, I will come back and let you know as soon as I get the amp in, get these playing. So I'm not going to mount them anywhere since they're in rolls of masking tape, but I will figure out where to mount them, and then we're going to come back and build. It'll probably be a combination of sticks and cardboard and super glue and Bondo to build some custom pods for these, if these sound good, and if they, you know, if it happens to be I want to add them into the system, because I don't really think, I mean, I could go out and spend a bunch of money on some mids, but unless I do go out and spend a bunch of money on some mids, I don't think they're gonna sound any better than these right here will. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these JBLs, not for mid-range, so I'm gonna let them rock. Come back when we got something else to look at.